Hello and welcome to the DJ Force 10 in Conversation podcast, episode 178. My very special guest on today's show is Lindy of the band Gabriel and the Apocalypse. They are a fantastic band coming out of Minnesota in the USA. Please go check them out. They've got an album out right now, but they're working on remix projects at the moment. They've just had a track remixed by Stitch from Mushroom Head. The track is called Systematic Chaos. I've played it on my radio show, so do go check that out, but go check out their videos and stuff as well. They've just released an acoustic version of Bleed Me an Ocean, which was a track off their album as well. Actually, my favourite track off their album, which was kind of a nice coincidence. But they've just released that, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. They're a great band, so I implore you to go check them out. Obviously, listen to the interview, and then go check them out if you like what you hear, or go check them out now. Stop this podcast and go check it out now. But before you do, I've got some requests for you guys. Obviously, rate, review, subscribe. That would be fantastic if you can do that. The ratings and the subscriptions and the reviews and all that kind of stuff are greatly appreciated. So please, if you guys can, you got a moment on whatever platform of choice, please go do that for me. Also, if you want to help fund my projects, so I've obviously got this podcast, I've got my mix show as well, things like that on Mixcloud, which is a platform I use to put out these audio pieces, if you will. There is a subscription service on there. It's set to $2.99 a month. That's £2.99 a month. So if any of you guys feel like or want to support what I'm doing, I'd love you to support me on that platform. Obviously, the content's still going to be there regardless, but if this is something you've been listening to, or if it's something that you want to help create more of in that respect, not that I'm doing this for the money, but there are costs that come with hosting and just sort of like all that kind of stuff. I won't go into the logistics of it, but there are costs now for this. And also, I've set up a Ko-fi site as well, which, so if you don't know what that is, basically you can buy me a coffee. So you can do like a one-off payment. You don't have to subscribe to anything. It's a one-off payment, buy me a coffee or a tea. And that would be greatly appreciated. You go to Ko-fi, that's ko-fi.com/DJ Force X. If you go there, you can buy me a coffee. I think it's like £3 or something like that. But that would be greatly appreciated as well, because coffee fuels my day. Tea also does as well. Tea fuels these interviews, in fact, because it soothes my throat and all that kind of good stuff. Especially at the moment with the cold season around and everything. Really sort of suffering this year with colds, which is a real pain in the throat. But yeah, so if you guys can support the show, that would be absolutely fantastic. I will be in love with you forever if you can do that for me. But apart from that, now that the begging's over and done with on that front, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been listening to the show and commenting and all that kind of stuff. The bands as well that I've been speaking to, like Ginger, Crosspaths, Soilwork, Tova last week, absolutely fantastic band. And just like going through, I've got a few more coming. I've got a special one for Christmas coming up as well, which we'll go into shortly. But I spoke to a band called Chroma the other day, which is going to be the next podcast. They were a fantastic band out of Finland. Twisted as well, that was great. They're releasing music all the time at the moment, so please check them out. And yeah, I'm just sort of like going back, Non-Point, stuff like that. All these bands are still going up and around and doing stuff. And yeah, it's just been absolutely fantastic to speak to these people and get their insights into what's going on with them and all that kind of good stuff. But yes, without much further ado, I give you Lindy from Gabriel and the Apocalypse. Enjoy. So I have Lindy on the show today. She is from the band Gabriel and the Apocalypse. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I'm loving your music, which we're going to talk about in a moment. I've just discovered you guys. I was sent your music by one of your promotional team, and it was your recent release of a remix of one of your tracks from last year, Systematic Chaos. And
Yes.
and I was noticed it was remixed by Stitch from Mushroomhead.
Yeah.
So
he did an amazing job, and we're really excited about the release.
it's really cool. I mean, I'm a sucker for the kind of like rock, metal, industrial, dance music crossover thing. If I could give it a name, I would. And
Exactly,
my music show centers around that kind of crossover. So it is primarily for electronic
That's perfect.
bands, heavy bands, industrial remixes, mashups, all that kind of stuff. And the fact it was done by Stitch is really cool as well. But do you want to tell us how that sort of came about and everything?
Yeah, we've known Rick for a long time. We've, played shows. We've done tours with Mushroomhead. We had Rick. He sang backup on one of our songs called Like God on our record, New World Disaster, in 2011. And then I did a track for Ventana that hasn't been released yet. And so we're always kind of working back and forth, and we decided to do a remix EP. And we reached out to some of our friends that, we really like what they do. And we asked Rick if he wanted to do a remix, and he said yes. And so we let him decide what song off of Alpha Bionic that he wanted to remix, and he chose Systematic Chaos. And then when he came back with it, we just loved it. We loved the dance, industrial feel. Kind of had like an old school industrial, feel, and it was really dirty and grimy and kind of like underground goth club, strip club kind of feel. And so we're like, this is going to be the first one where we release off of the remixes because we loved it so much.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it caught my ear, which was really good. But then I went back and actually I listened to the album, the Alpha Bionic album as well. I really love Bleed Me an Ocean, by the way, totally separate from this.
Oh,
I really love that song.
We're actually releasing an acoustic version of that on the 13th.
Oh, really? Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to that as well. Yeah, no, that was like, I was listening to the whole album's good, but that one really, it was one of my favourite tracks. That and your cover as well, actually, because I love that Beds Are Burning by Midnight Oil. So, and you did a really good cover of that. And
Thank you.
For anyone that's listening, you can go find that now. You can stop this and go find that now. But no, it's really cool because your press agent sent me that and the remix, and that's got me into it. And I'm sort of going through. I've just gone through Alpha Bionic over the last couple of days. Really enjoyed it. I'm going to go back and listen to the other album you just mentioned. I can't remember the name of it.
Awesome.
My short-term memory is shocking. But yeah, no, I was just on that front. What I want to do as well. I know we kind of skipped ahead a little bit, but what I want to do as well, because I don't know how familiar you are over here in the UK. I don't know what your fan base is like in this sort of area. Have you ever been to England and played, or?
We haven't. We've wanted to. We've had chances to. And honestly, the thing that's kept us back is the cost to get over there and make it happen, you know? So that's the unfortunate thing because we really want to. I know we have fans over there, and it's just the financial part of it to make it happen.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to make sure because I want to take you through this part without knowing if you've been here or not. But what I'd really like to do is get an origin story about your band to sort of find out where you guys came from and stuff like that. And just for obviously the listeners, anyone new to the band and stuff like that, it gives them kind of a the background of it and everything. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind just taking us through how you guys got together and where you sort of came from.
Well, I mean, I've been in bands forever since I was like 11. So I started a band, The Apocalypse, when I was probably about, 14 years old. And it kind of evolved into what it is now. And we changed the name to Gabriel and the Apocalypse in 2002 when we added Jake and kind of take this different turn. And, this is, what we wanted to do. We wanted to tour. We wanted to do this professionally. And so we feel like, because it's been a long time of growth and finding what kind of band we are and this or that. So we feel that Game of the Apocalypse really began with our release in 2011 with New World Disaster. It's when we started touring. It's when we got Figgles, our keyboard player, and we really found our sound. We found our niche. And because prior to that, we were really trying to find ourselves in our sound. So we don't really count that. We don't really, all of our records before that, we don't even sell them. We don't play any of those songs. So 2011 is the the beginning of Gabriel and the Apocalypse, and we've been touring and releasing records ever since.
That's really cool. That's good. And what area of the States are you from?
We're from Minneapolis, Minnesota area.
Cool. So what's the sort of scene like there? What's like bands that have come out of that area and everything like that? What sort of scene did you grow up in?
Yeah, I mean, the scene is amazing. I mean, this is where, Prince came out about, and there's been a lot of, great bands and great artists. And I just think that we've stayed here because we do love the scene. We love the people. We love the bands and the community. And before COVID, it's like there were so many shows going on every freaking night. Clubs and I mean everywhere. So there's always something to do. There's so much culture and art out here, and support, so that's why I think we've always stayed here and we love it.
No, that's very cool because it is a nice little hotbed of music, like you already mentioned, Prince and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, no, I was just curious because like I said before we started, I was based over in the States for a little while, and I really loved how the scene worked in where I was, and it reminded me of what scenes used to be like here back when I was like younger, and I was in bands and stuff like that as well, and then it sort of it changed as things do, and it sort of became a bit more dog eat dog, if you will, rather than sort of bands working together, and I found that in the States is very much a lot of bands work together to sort of help their scene, and then when national artists come through, they're put on the support slots, but they're selling tickets still and stuff like that. And, and that's amazing. I love just sort of watching that and observing that, and actually then ended up sort of being a part of that with this podcast and stuff like that, interviewing bands from that area and sort of really getting myself into that side of it. But yeah, I'm always interested to find out in different parts of the States how that works for you guys, but obviously it sounds like the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we got our start. Like clubs asking us to open for the national bands that were coming through, so that's kind of where that started. And then we started going on tour with bigger bands and things like that. So yeah, then the support is great. Excellent.
How have you, I know this is kind of it's a question I've been asking everyone because you can hardly ignore it, but how have you guys adapted during this sort of like the pandemic that's obviously still going on? How has that sort of like, obviously I know live shows, it's affected you on that front, and but a lot of bands have adapted and kind of like, changed how they do stuff online, for instance, things like that. What have you been up to on that front?
It's crazy because like when we did our last tour starting like mid-February to mid-March, so like COVID, all this was like unfolding as we were touring in the US, and we're like, should we freaked out? Like, what's this going to turn into? I mean, it's like we had no idea. And as soon as we got back from, I think it was like a 4 or 5 week tour, like within 2 days, everything shut down and everything was done, so it was kind of crazy that was unfolding as we were on tour. And so we really were like, well, let's sit back and see what happens. And since we had just got back from tour, we're like, okay, we know we're not going to be touring for a while. We're going to see how this unfolds. So everyone kind of do what you've wanted to do in your personal life, since, with the band, our schedule with writing and being on tour, you have to put a lot of that on the back burner. So a lot of us kind of did a lot of things that we've been wanting to do, and now that it's been how many months and we're all past that phase, we're like, okay, we're ready to play a show and we can't. And, I mean, we've thought about doing an, virtual concert, but I guess my thing is we're known for our crazy high energy live show. Yeah. And if we're going to do a virtual concert, I want to make sure that comes across, and I don't want people to be like, not get that, have that energy come across, or, because we love to interact with the crowd and we just love complete chaos. And, so I don't know, we've thought about it. We can make it a way that will translate well, our live show to translate well. But, and it's financially been hard because, a band like us, we only make money when we're on tour. Yeah. Promoting Gabriel and the Apocalypse and our records and such. So that's been hard. And so I've been making handmade, made one of a kind merchandise and things like that to try to keep us afloat financially during this time. So it's tough, but we're starting to write new music and just have everything in our back pocket so that when tours do resume, like we're ready to come out like full force and just kick some ass.
No, that's awesome. I've had a lot of bands on the show, and it's always different with a lot of them actually, including you guys, of how you guys have kind of adapted and what you've kind of done to kind of make up partially what you would be losing, especially when it comes to finances and things like Bandcamp, as they actually have today of recording, they've got their no fee day going on, which is a regular thing they've been doing, which has been really good to sort of help artists and stuff. But no, I've had bands that have put on online productions. They've done a live show and then, and people have kind of paid to watch it, if you will.
Right.
And you've got bands that are doing that sort of side of things for free, or they're releasing covers, or they're doing, something along those lines. But it's been really, really interesting to watch how a lot of when that element is taken away, how people adapt to it. Obviously, initially it was well, what the hell do we do?
Right.
We're all stuck at home.
We even talked about maybe doing an OnlyFans. Yeah. Because we have some great behind the scenes videos and stuff that we can't post on Facebook. So we're maybe we could be the band that starts an OnlyFans. We have some crazy shit we've done, So we thought about that. We'll see though.
Yeah, that could happen. It depends how financially stretched you get on that front, but that would be interesting to see if that, because you get bands that put up Patreons now. I've seen a few bands do that. Which has been interesting, where you sort of you're sort of helping the band survive by subscribing to them, essentially. And it's just really I had Elias from Nonpoint on the show recently, and they just did their 20th anniversary of Statement, which was their album back 20 years ago. But they did an online show where they played live and then entwined tracks with making of or Q&As with the band members about that album, which I thought was really cool. And I watched it, and it was really well done. And I've got another band coming up. They're doing a big sort of production. They've got a whole sort of light show and everything going on around them, and stuff like that. And they're doing a live show that way. And it's just interesting just to sort of see and they're sort of charging $10 a ticket or whatever. Obviously it's not the same as being at a show, right? But we can't be at shows right now. I mean, I'm a DJ, and I can't DJ clubs right now, and it's I'm veering towards live streaming. I've done a couple, but it's kind of I want to stay practiced, but I don't know how, because the couple I've done, it's the same as you guys in bands and stuff. You kind of feed off the crowd.
Exactly.
You get that energy. You kind of it instinctively.
That energy, that magic, and it's you don't want that to be lost, and then people lose interest or they're not into it as much. So it's tough, man. I just I did the Pussifer show. I bought tickets for that. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
They had some really cool packages on it too that I thought was a really good idea. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of ideas flying around, and a lot of bands are trying to make it work. But it's been mainly independent bands like yourself and a lot of sort of smaller bands that have really adapted and really kind of use technology to their advantage on this front. And I mean, coming out of this, live shows, that'll be a different entity at all. It's going to be very busy initially, but a lot of people are going to want to be out. A lot of people are going to want to go to shows, and I think it's going to be good for the artists at that point, because there's going to be crowds there that want to be there, because they've had that taken away from them, rather than being sort of fair weather and kind of maybe I'll go, maybe I won't. I'll say yes on Facebook, but not actually go. The person. Right. But now that they've had that taken away from them,
I'm not going to go to a show now and say I'll go next time. You know what I mean? Because something like this happens, and then because they'll realize there might not be a next time for a while. So exactly,
it's one of those things where I think it's going to be definitely beneficial for the artists like yourself eventually. Obviously, some are going to fall by the wayside because needs must, and you must make money and must kind of support yourself and family. But once this passes, which I think it will, I hope it will, there's going to be a lot of people out and about at shows, and obviously clubs and bars and stuff like that as well, which what I'm hoping for anyway. Not that my club was empty when I played it, but it'd be nice to play to a packed house. So I won't take it for granted again, I'll tell you that.
Never again.
Never again. So what are your sort of plans going forward then? I know you said, obviously, this remix project that we're talking about at the start. Can you give us any information on any other remixes you've got on that?
Yeah. So, we have the acoustic mix coming out on the 13th. We also have a mix that Sin from Ministry did for Beds Are Burning.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple other remixes that a couple of our musician friends in Minneapolis did. People that we love their work and wanted to work with them or have worked with them in the past. John Wheeler, he did a remix for Electromechanical, and he was a big part in Alpha Bionic.
Cool.
So we thought that, was appropriate to do. I'm really excited. We're going to release the EP probably in January. And meanwhile, we're working on brand new music, and we're going to work on brand new music videos and release those closer to a time where we feel like maybe we'll be able to go on tour. Because that's the thing that's a shame. It's like for us, promoting Alpha Bionic was, that was shortened for us because of not being able to tour. That's how we promote something, is just go out and sell it. And so it's just like you don't want to put so much time and money into something that you're not going to be able to go out and promote, you know? So we're just going to try to build a bunch of singles and videos and then release them at a time that hopefully we'll be able to tour. Yeah,
it's kind of a good time to get stuff kind of in stock, if you will. Like I've found with a lot of bands, they either delayed their release or they didn't. They just kept on the promotional trail. But it did definitely give bands a time to really kind of sort out afterthoughts. Not the videos are always afterthoughts, but they tend to be because you don't know what your singles are going to look like, what they're going to sound like, which ones they're going to be, stuff like that. Because if you've got if you've got a label involved, they might prefer one other track over the one that you prefer, and then you've got to fight them for all that kind of stuff. It's sort of like having that moment to really get that whole package together. I think will be beneficial as well, because obviously I think you're right, and your next album, I think people should now kind of wait unless it's something they feel they need to release, obviously. But yeah, if you make your sort of you make yourself known on the road, then you need to be able to go out on the road, and not at sort of socially distant shows, if you will, because I don't think they think they work so much. I mean, I've watched shows being sat down. Big acts. I've been in theatres to see Alice Cooper and stuff like that, and that being sat down, it's kind of weird. And that was in normal times. But I think it was a hailstorm as well. I saw it in the theatre, and I was sat down, and I was 3 rows from the front, and it's really weird just to sort of stay seated.
You're right.
So even now, when you have to stay seated in some venues, I don't know. It's not going to work. But no, I know, right? That sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing some of those remixes.
Awesome.
It's something that I love in, like I said before, in what I do in my music show, having that and being able to mix the genres that I like. It just makes my life easier on that front, because I'm always I can either do a remix myself, or it's just a partial remix, just throwing in a breakbeat on something and just making it mixable, or you guys actually taking the impetus to actually go out and get people to remix and change your songs and do a sort of different interpretation, but also give it that dance vibe as well, like you did with the Systematic Chaos. Like I say, it gave it that kind of industrial sort of fetish club kind of dance beat, if you will. Which is like stuff like that, and sort of I play all kinds of stuff bands like The Prodigy, Pendulum, and then I also play things like Ministry and Sick Puppy and just sort of that sort of side of things. As of recording this on Sunday, your track is going on to my show. This will be out after the show, but people can go back and listen to it. It'll be on Mixcloud. But I look forward to hearing those other remixes, including the acoustic one, actually, because I really love that song, the Bleed Me in Ocean song. So I could see it being a really good acoustic kind of reimagining on that front. But looking to see what was it Sin from Ministry you said? did the remix. I'm looking forward to that one as well. That's going to be good.
It's really cool. You know, it was awesome for him to do that. We met Sin, I think, was it 2011, like the first real tour we had done. He was playing with American Head Charge, and we just became friends. And then he was playing with Lords of Acid when we toured with them. And it was really cool to be like, yay, we're the Sin again, and we kind of rekindled that friendship again. And
nice.
So, yeah, he's been really cool.
Excellent. Well, I've got a couple of questions left for you, Lindy, if that's all right, and then I can let you get on with the rest of your day. But yeah, these are sort of my standard sort of ending questions, but what I want to find out are your sort of three, if you can obviously log them down, so your three pivotal albums. Now, I'm talking about the sort of like the album that made you want to be in a band, the one that made you want to sing or something like that. Just ones that really kind of shaped the sort of musician or person that you are today.
I would say Hole, Live Through This.
Nice.
Nirvana, Nevermind, and Nine Inch Nails, Downward Spiral.
Nice. They're
just on the top of my head.
Yeah, no, you're the quickest person to do this. Normally there's a lot of deliberating, but that's good. No, I mean the whole album. I've not listened to that in a while, but I used to have that on repeat, along with obviously a bunch of other stuff when we just listened to albums. But no, that's a really good album. Obviously, Nevermind, it's a classic.
Right.
There's not much I can say about that. Nine Inch Nails as well. That album, like, I mean, again, it's that kind of like industrial side of things and electronic and dirty side of things, which like I really like. And Nirvana, sorry, Nirvana, I wish. Nine Inch Nails are really kind of like the Godfathers, along with like Ministry. I think of that. They're kind of just sort of like there's none kind of. None better at the moment. There are pretenders, but they're not quite there yet. But that's damn fine. 3 albums actually. I'm going to go back and listen to that whole album because I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh my god! So. I know. I probably about a month ago. I'm like, I haven't listened to this for a while, and it just brings back memories. You know, that was a huge record for me as a kid growing up and being, you know, a singer. And then I'm like, Courtney Love is just like so badass and raw and in your face, and it really inspired me at the time. No,
she's definitely one of the sort of like pinnacles, especially when it comes to sort of like female inspiration, if you will, on that front. I mean, I'm currently raising 3 daughters, and I've been getting them into. Well, I've been playing music in the background subliminally, but when they hear female voices on those tracks, especially the heavy ones, I played your guys' stuff and they listen, they asked who you were. I had Tatiana from Ginger, if you've heard of them, on the show, and I mean her vocal sort of styling is crazy. But no, I get them, like I mentioned earlier, Hailstorm, stuff like that. Obviously Paramore is a bit more palatable for them. But stuff like that, I'm just sort of like, and back then, you know, you could count sort of like, I guess, female fronted bands on your one hand that were sort of like noticed. But she definitely put it out there for all the sort of things that she kind of gets lauded with. Like she did put that music out, and she was the badass female. She was like the rock and roll like icon of that era, and you know, even still now, I know she's not like really doing music or anything, but I know she kind of worked with Fall Out Boy for a bit on one track a little while ago and stuff like that, so she's still in and around. Obviously her daughter's sort of coming into music as well by the sounds of it, so but yeah, that's really cool, and obviously, you know, you someone like you continuing that kind of legacy of being, you know, not to sort of bring the gender into it, but female fronted bands, there are, you know, thankfully there are a lot more of them now, and bands like you kind of push that envelope more on that front, and I'm sure my girls will want me to say thank you for that on that front, because it's something that I know one of them definitely is very much into music, and she's going that way. She's getting very kind of like she's getting that kind of teenager emo kind of thing going on at the moment, but she's very much into her music, so you know, and I know it's a great way of expression, so it's all good. And being a former musician, I was used to be in a band. It's nice to see. Cool. So, last question. What are your hobbies away from music? So obviously with the sort of downtime and everything that we've kind of got these days, what sort of things are you sort of getting up to?
Well, about a year ago, I started my own brand that I customize, like streetwear, and I have my own makeup line. So that has been something, since I can't play shows, that's something that I really thrown myself into, and put a lot of time and work into right now. 'Cause then I can just put that stuff together and mail it out,
Yeah.
And it allows me to be creative, in other ways other than music, which I like to stay busy and stay creative. So that's a huge thing that I've been doing and putting myself into. I also help with animal rescue.
Oh, cool.
Trying to think here, what else? I don't know. And then during all this time too, I sold my house and I moved to the country. So it's only been a couple months I've been in my new place. So still getting settled in there and decorating and things. And I was bit by a bat the third night in. So that was an experience.
That's a good omen, that one, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, just staying creative all the time.
Yeah, cool.
But I'm excited to start writing music again. I'm starting to get kind of in that mindset again.
No, that's good. No, so it's always good to hear, like, being sort of like, obviously most bands are entrepreneurial by the nature of it, and then if you can use what you've kind of like cultivated or learned, or like from doing that and then putting it into your own kind of brand, like I've seen like band members start their own clothing lines and stuff like that, or like just designing t-shirts and stuff. But yeah, no, like having like sort of like cosmetics and stuff, and obviously like say customizing streetwear and things like that, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Cool. And obviously animal rescue, that's, without even saying, that is very cool. So
I know, now that I have like land, I'm like, in the springtime I'm gonna make room so I can, foster more animals, maybe rescue a cow or something. I'm pretty excited. So
That's amazing. I look forward to seeing that. I'm going to follow you on social.
Awesome.
So. That's really cool. Well, Lindy,
I was going to get a pig, but then I was bit by a bat, and like the whole rabies series just like made me feel really sick. So I didn't get a pig yet, but I'm going to. I really want to get a pig.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, Lindy, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Good luck with everything, like with the music and the sort of the sort of brand stuff as well. I look forward to seeing how that sort of opens up for you and everything.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it, and I hope to talk to you soon.
No problem at all. You have a fantastic rest of your day.
You too. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.